Hey, everybody, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Got a loaded Hang with Ron Johnson segment today. I got Jalen Nailor, Tai Felton, and, of course, Byron Murphy Jr. Well, he's the second, but he goes by Junior. We'll talk to him later on coming up in the Ron Johnson Show. And then coming up, we got the Vikings-Texans. And there was one key takeaway I had from that game. Let's see if you had the same one. Coming up next on the Ron Johnson Show.
Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast. It's endless Minnesota Vikings talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. Now the Ron Johnson Show. On the field, in the broadcast booth, Ron Johnson is Minnesota sports. He's played with them, hung out with them, and grown up with all the big names in Minnesota sports. They're hanging out with Ron Johnson. It's the Ron Johnson Show on the Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast. And it starts now.
Hey, good people, it's Ron Johnson, and this is the Ron Johnson Show on Locked On Sports Minnesota. It's a beautiful Tuesday. The birds are chirping. The sprinklers are going off, and there's dew on the grass. And this is Locked On Sports Minnesota Podcast Network. I want to thank everybody for joining me today, whether you're on YouTube, Amazon Fire, Roku, whatever device you're using. I want to thank you. Please make sure to continue to tell your friends we're here. We got some great interviews coming up today. We've had a bunch of great ones all summer, and the season's just going to get better and better and better. And the state fair is not too far around the corner. So I don't know what I'm going to do the segment. I don't know if it's going to be like food or something or some type of foodie interview with athletes because we got the Gophers. They're going to be down there. So might have to catch up with a couple Gopher players and find out what they like to do at the fair. But again, I'm Ron Johnson. This is Locked On Sports Minnesota. Before I bring my producer into the show, I want everybody to know today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Just download the Game Time app, create an account, and use the code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. In terms to apply, it's on your app, people. It's super simple. I've done it. If I can do it, you can do it. Because I'm an old dad of two girls, and, you know, like technology to me sometimes is getting a little crazy, but I do understand the Game Time app. Super simple. Download it. You can see your seats. That's the cool thing. When you click a seat, you can see what it looks like. I did it for my kids and my wife coming up. They're going to check out a Vikings game, and there's some great ticket opportunities for these next next Vikings game with the Patriots. So make sure you guys check that out. And then, of course, during the season, easy way to make sure you get verified tickets on the Game Time app. Just download the Game Time app. Use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. Well, as I bring my producer into the show, Sam Extra, we're going to have some fun today. We're going to talk about Vikings-Texans. I'm going to catch up with Jalen Nailor, Byron Murphy Jr., and Tai Felton, former and it's a Big Ten show. I didn't realize all three. I wasn't on purpose, because Byron Murphy wasn't a Big Ten guy. If I were to say Big Ten, I would say Michigan State. I would kind of say Maryland. I guess they're adopted it. And I didn't have Byron Murphy on my bingo card for Big Ten. And then I forgot they all came over. UCLA, USC, and all those schools, Oregon, they all are in the Big Ten now. So it threw me off at first when he said Big Ten, and I was like, oh, yeah. I forgot you're in the Big Ten now. And so, which I don't even know if they truly feel like they're in the Big Ten. Because when I said it to Van Ginkel about the Big Ten, he was like, wait, what? He's like, oh, yeah, I forgot UCLA. You know, like he doesn't even consider it yet a Big Ten because he's a true blue blood Big Ten. Wisconsin, that is a true blue blood Big Ten school. But jumping into the Texans game, Sam, my first takeaway to bury the tease, bury the lead. I don't know if anybody else had this, but I did. Because I said it. I'm going to tweet it out later today. It's 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter. That's also on Instagram, but I'm going to tweet out the video today. I finally got it from our pregame show. They said, what is your prediction for this game? I said Max Brosmer might not do the it's time like Shedeur Sanders, but I was like, he's got a touchdown in him, and he's going to have a big day. I was like, when he scores, he should roll the boat or he should aura farm like that kid that's kind of taking over social media. He's winning. Everybody gets like 15 minutes, legit 15 minutes, and it's done. That kid aura farmed. Everybody was all over it. They were doing the dance. He had his little 15 minutes. He's done. Like the girl that did the interview on the street, she's done. The dancing girl that does the line dance. Nobody's really talking about her anymore. Everybody literally gets 15 minutes. You do something, you're famous for 15 minutes. Everybody steals it and puts it on social media, makes fun of it or loves it and celebrates it. And then it's time to move on. So I hope these people have monetized their little 15 minutes. But I called that out. I called that he would get a touchdown, and he did. My other one, though, and it was on our show, Daniel Jackson, 4 catches, didn't even happen. He got 1 target. and didn't get it. So, looks like he's on the back of the depth chart. That's the problem with that. He has to find his way. Maybe week 3 for him. I'll keep an eye on Daniel Jackson. Maybe week 3, when more of the backups get to play, maybe he'll get his chance to get more targets. But he only had 1 target. But Max Brosmer had himself a day. Max Brosmer played himself, in my opinion, to be the quarterback 3. Like he had, like Sam Howell went 11 for 13. Nobody's talking about that. Nobody's talking about the backup that went 11 for 13 and threw for 4. Somebody, I don't know if this is true. I never looked this up. Somebody said he threw for 4,000 yards one season in the NFL. I have not looked that up. I just saw a tweet because my Max Brosmer tweet is blowing up. And so in my QB rankings every game this offseason, I do it during the season, that too. I do the hot rankings every year. So I do a fluid hot rankings, the hot ranks, and I had of course JG McCarthy 1. I said Sam Howell 2A, Max Brosmer 2B, and then I had Rippin as 4. And so in my opinion, Max Brosmer played himself up there. Like I think he was just as good, but 11 for 13 didn't get talked about because the local kid flashed and everybody's like, whoa, I saw him in college. But everybody else is just seeing him. Hopefully, this week at the joint practices, I get to catch up with him quick because I know he's going to have a ton of cameras and microphones in his face most likely after that game. People are going to want a piece of Max. But just remember, Max, we had you here first. We had you on the Ron Johnson Show here first twice.
We believed in you.
We believed in you. And during the offseason, before training camp started, we had you on here twice. So we were already on the Max Brosmer train before everybody else. So if what is it? If a bromance comes, I don't know what kind of thing, because we had Dob Sanity. I don't want to go bro sanity, but maybe bro sanity. I don't know.
Romance is good.
Bromance. We're all in a bromance with Max Brosmer. Whatever. It was here first. But that was my takeaway, Sam. That Max Brosmer stole the show. He had a great, couple drives. Should have had maybe 2 touchdowns, but had 1 clean touchdown to Miles Price, receiver out of Indiana. Big Ten connection. Felton, like you guys will hear in the Hang Around Johnson segment soon, he talked about Max Brosmer and how he saw Max Brosmer when they played Minnesota, and he was like, I want to make sure I'm linked up with Max. I thought it was going to be Felton. I was like, that would have been an awesome connection if Felton could have got that touchdown. So we could have, when this interview aired, it'd be like, you know what? Felton called a shot. But you know what? It went to another Big Ten guy out of Indiana, a true Big Tenner. Not to say Maryland's not, but they were adopted in. But a true Big Tenner and Miles Price. And so, which, by the way, I don't know if it's me, but the 31 looks like a running back. Like, I don't like.
We got some weird numbers going on. We got to fix that.
I get that. Somebody was saying, that was its old number.
Amir Abdullah?
No, before he passed away.
Oh.
Kyrie Jackson, I think he had 31 first. Maybe somebody said, I don't know if that's true either. Somebody tweeted that's why Miles Price took it. I don't know if that's true or not, but like 31 doesn't look like a receiver to me. Does not look like a receiver at all. I thought it was the running back at first. At first glance, I'm like, oh, they shifted the running back out. Of course he's wide open. Nobody thinks a running back's gonna. And maybe that's what happened. Maybe when he lined up with 31 on, they're like, oh, that's the tailback, and they didn't pay attention because when he ran the dig, the DB kind of like stayed back as if it was some type of like zone, just weird coverage, and the safety jumped the under route quickly. Like the safety vacated, and Max did a great job. Max went from left to right to right. He went from left to center to right. He went left. He looked. That made the safety maybe think like, oh, he wants something coming across his face. He didn't even think about the backside, and Max came back, knew exactly what the route was, the timing it had to be. Line protection was great. Boom, delivered a perfect pass into the body just in case he was covered and might get a hit. Touchdown. And that was awesome. That was an awesome play, Sam. But that's what caught my eye. What caught your eye in this Texans game?
Yeah, good quarterback play, certainly. You touched on that. I don't know about Rippin, but you got it from 3 out of 4. I think seeing the McCarthy-Addison connection for however short a time was pretty important. That was obviously his number 1 receiver on the field without Justin Jefferson, and he only had 4 completions, and Addison was 3 of them. And, we're breaking down the Brosmer connection on the touchdown. How about the McCarthy connection on that 3rd down with a man in his face? I think it was Tim Settle, the defensive tackle, bearing down because he plowed through Donovan Jackson. So off balance, McCarthy makes an accurate throw where only Addison can catch it down the field. That was a great moment. So McCarthy finding a way to flash with his arm And then also with his legs, picking up that first down, I think on a fourth down play, Ron, to move the chains. Just a couple of elements that we're looking for from McCarthy, and we saw them in that one drive that he had. So I was encouraged by the McCarthy performance. I was encouraged by the Howell performance to get some people off the ledge. And, of course, our guy, Max Brosmer, working his way up. And, Ron, when you compare him to the Texans' fourth-string quarterback, was that Graham Mertz? Speaking of Big Ten, Graham Mertz, who I think threw more completions to us than he did to his own team. It looks a little bit better.
Yeah, he threw an interception to another Big Ten guy, Ambry Thomas. He had himself an I am him moment. I think that was more of a relief from him. When you come off injury, you just never know, how you're going to play again. And, he got his pick. So that hopefully that flashed a little bit for the Minnesota Vikings to say, let's give Ambry maybe a little more time out there, see what he can do with this. But yeah, Sam Howell did throw for close to 4,000 yards. So now I see why the person tweeted me that 3,946 yards, 21 touchdowns. Here's the problem though. 78 passer rating because he threw 21 interceptions. He had himself a Jameis Winston type of season. He went 21 for 21 touchdowns, 21 interceptions on 3,946 yards. So, I mean, I get the point of the person, 63% completions. The point of the person that tweeted that probably is saying like Sam Howell, because what he said was, and this is in my power rankings, it's on 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter and on Instagram, but 3 Ron Johnson on Twitter, my tweet that kind of blew up. One of the comments, because after it blows up, then people start commenting. At first, it's just like, share, like, retweet, quote tweet, retweet. And then it's like, whoa, okay, this is getting out of hand. Let me comment and calm people down. And somebody said Sam Howell is for sure the backup because he can throw for 4,000 yards. And so this is what they're talking about. But I play devil's advocate. If Max Brosmer had an entire NFL season with the Washington Commanders, I think he could have threw for 4,000 yards, and I think he would have less interceptions. I just do. I think he would not have 21 interceptions. Like, that's a lot. I mean, again, we can go back and watch the film and see where these tips off balls' hands, where these, sacks that got flipped up into the air and considered an interception because his arm was going forward. Who knows? But 21 interceptions on 21 touchdowns is a lot. And so would Max Brosmer potentially be able to throw for 3,000, 4,000 yards? I think he could. In a passing offense like that, with weapons like JJ and Addison and Hawkinson and Naylor and, Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason, I think Max Brosmer could get it done. But it's JJ McCarthy's show. We know that. Sam Howell's going to be the backup. The one thing about Max Brosmer, and we brought this up, and maybe I'll ask him about this tomorrow during the joint practice because it's a Thursday joint practice. I will most likely be, because Common Man is out. So sounds like I'm going to be in the 12-1 slot on the perch at training camp with Brandon Molesky, unless things change. He hasn't decided if he wants to go out there or not. Maybe I'll reach back out to him and say, hey, I'm in. Because I wasn't sure. I told him I wasn't sure because my daughter has volleyball trials this week for high school. And so I am on driving duty because my wife is back to work at school now. So she's a dean of students at her school, and so she has to start work today because students report on Monday. So the deans and the principals and the head of schools and the teachers, everybody's getting, and tonight is back to school night. So they're getting all their stuff ready to go for the students, for all the students to return. This is the time where all the teachers and everybody's like, I got to go back to school. School is starting. Like, I know everybody has that realization when they got to go back and summer's over. Just like kids. Kids have that realization. Like this weekend, I think it's going to hit most of the kids that have to go back to school. I think public schools start a little bit later. Private schools are starting Monday. And I know my daughter's not excited. She's excited to go to school, but she's not excited. But she is ready to get to school, meet her new friends, see what classes are going to be like. Because high school's a different beast. But I was on duty to drop off at volleyball. And so I wasn't sure. But the God's graces of these 12 o'clock practices free me up because practice for volleyball is not till like 3 o'clock. So I kind of can I can do the 12-1, stand around for a little bit, and then I'm out. Then I got to head out and get back to this side of town to get my daughter to practice. But yeah, so I'm most likely going to be on the perch if the radio station decides to go out there, Vikings Radio Network, And then, that'll be fun though. We'll get to watch some live practices, talk about on the radio, talk about Stefon Diggs and Byron Murphy in a brouhaha. No, Byron Murphy's not that type of guy. I don't even know if we have that type. Like Chris Boyd would have been my candidate for a fight if he was still with the Vikings. Like, do you have a fight candidate for this week? Because I know we're going to talk about that too in the second segment a little bit, but in this week as I join, tomorrow's show, I was debating too, because I know we're live tomorrow 9 to 10. I was debating if I should just go out there or just sit on the perch early for the walkthrough and do our show from there. But then I'm like, well, then I'm stuck there for 2 more hours until 12 o'clock. So I'm like, I don't know if I want to do that. But do you have any, like, have you seen any DB candidates that could be a brouhaha? I mean, Ambry Thomas potentially, because he doesn't care. I don't know if anybody else has that in them though. Like Ambry, I know does. Nudie, I don't know. Nudie seems like a nice guy. I don't know, but Nudie might have it in him. Like, I don't think Byron Murphy does. Though. Byron Murphy seems like.
What about Okudah? Like, I don't know Okudah that well yet, but a guy who might feel like he's kind of getting picked on. Former first round pick. People want to take it to him. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Okudah could mix it up. Maybe Rodgers. Rodgers has a little bit of a chip working for him. But you're right. It's not the same personalities as we've had in the past.
Yeah, Harrison Smith, we know is not doing it.
We know that Garrett Bradbury is going to have extra emotions going on. We know Bradbury can get fired up on the field. What if Jonathan Allen, and he have some good back and forth, and then they get in a shoving match working in the trenches? I think that could be a good one.
That could be a good one. You could have Christian Darisaul's not that guy, but he would be. I think he would do it. You know what? I think the guard. Fries. Yeah. Reggie Wayne. Remember Reggie Wayne told us he's a jerk. So maybe Fries, because I've been watching his tape and he stonewalls guys. Like once they first move, stonewall, they spin, stonewall. Like he is a beast at guard. And if he stays healthy, so I could see him maybe like bullying somebody into a fight from the Patriots because they might get mad that they're getting absolutely thrown around. And want to, get in a little, because it's got to be something, maybe running back, because running backs, linebackers is the sneaky favorite because they have to do 3-on-4s and blitz pickup. And that's where it can kind of get chippy too. If you're running through somebody or running somebody over, running back takes offense to it, or a linebacker pushes a running back after he makes a catch. The team's not happy about how that went. Like, dude, you got beat. Why would you push him in the back like that and hurt his hand? Because that's how people hurt hamstrings. Yanking jerseys and getting pushed when you're not expected to be pushed and you think you're just going to jog. That's how guys pull, tweak hamstrings. And I know guys hate that. Do not grab my jersey and do not push me when the play is over, because that's how guys get hurt. But guys get mad. They get mad. They get beat. And they want to do that little extra shove at the end. And it could turn into fisticuffs. But we will see what it looks like this Wednesday, Thursday. I'll be out there training camp. I'm probably going to head out to the Gophers today. Gophers have a open practice at 11 o'clock today as well at Huntington Bank Stadium. I keep wanting to say TCF, but Huntington Bank Stadium. So I'm going to head down there as well. And the Vikings are off today. So I'm guessing Max Brosmer potentially is going to be at practice. I'm guessing maybe a Blake Cashman sighting. But I know when these open practices at the stadium, you do it. Like Carter Coughlin was there last time with Tanner Morgan. So I am going to head down there and check that out too. Just a little bit of a Gophers practice, just to, because we do Gophers shows as well. I am, as you see my football behind me, that Penn State win. I got one of the balls of the game for my touchdown performance and big catch and a Hail Mary catch and tip. So I'm a Gopher through and through. I do the Gophers game day show. I do the PJ Flex show. So I got to make sure I go down there, and I got some names written down. I got some guys I'm keeping track of this year. I got some receivers on my list now. I kind of have a handle on it, but I definitely want to get another look at their practice. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little Byron Murphy. We're going to talk a little Jaylen Naylor. And we're going to talk a little bit of Ty Felton. We catch up with them at training camp, and we'll do that after a word from our sponsors.
Today's show is brought to you by Game Time. I went to the Vikings-Texans game, at least the first half, with using Game Time. Got $3 tickets. Incredible value. Get into US Bank Stadium. Great deals. I looked at Vikings-Patriots on Saturday. A little more expensive. You and a guest can go to that game for as little as $18 a piece. That's fees included. There's no hidden fees at Game Time. Get a great view from your seat. There are zone deals when you find the best seats in a given section. And as kickoff gets closer, prices can drop up to 60% at Game Time. We've all been there. We're all scrounging for tickets, Game Time makes it easy. They take the guesswork out of buying tickets, whether it's sports, concerts, or events in your city. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDON-NFL for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets. Lowest price guaranteed.
Well, yeah, so we caught up this week. I caught up this week with Jalen Nailor, Byron Murphy Jr., and Tai Felton. And here's the thing, like the one that got me first, you know, when you look at Felton, and Felton is a guy that you just don't know what you're going to get out of him. You don't know what he's going to be. He's a draft pick, and everybody had him slated. And then you get Rondale Moore, and then you get all these other guys, and everybody starts to, you know, you get the Deshaun Jones, and you get the Lucky Jacksons, who, like, Lucky Jackson looks like, I mean, we'll see this coming up game. Does he start next to Jalen Naylor? Because Jordan Addison might be out if JJ McCarthy's not playing. Like, we'll see what this looks like this week. But I'm guessing maybe they want to get Jordan Addison as many reps as they can, knowing he's going to miss 3 weeks and can't do team stuff with them for games. But when I talked to Tai Felton, you know, he gave me some intel about Max Brosmer. And that's the one thing that kind of was cool to me to see, you know, his already eyes on Max Brosmer, wanting to connect with Max Brosmer and do one-on-ones. When you think about Felton, say, I mean, we got him coming up in a minute. Do you see an avenue for him to crack that top 4 right now?
I mean, the Rondale Moore injury changes everything. I mean, I think Rondale Moore was going to do a lot of those same things and probably be the guy to do it this year. Now Felton's got to be the guy to do it. Jet motion guy, you know, third down and 4, you need some separation. You might look to Tai Felton. Even with Addison in the mix, you've got Jefferson, Addison, Naylor, question mark. Mm-hmm. Felton's in that mix for the top 4. So I think 100% he is. He's not a veteran like Lucky Jackson, but he does have some pedigree, right? He's a 3rd round pick. So he's got some talent. He's got some speed. And he showed, Ron, some special teams talent with from the gunner position on Saturday with a big tackle and forced fumble against the Texans. So showing good things so far. I'm sure Keenan is working with him every day. That's probably Keenan's biggest project, right? Wouldn't you think that, you know, he knows what he has in Jefferson. He knows what he has in Addison and Naylor. Ty and Keenan are probably tied at the hip. So I do see Ty actually getting a big opportunity now without Rondale Moore.
Yeah, and the depth chart that came out, you know, it's the Vikings' first crack at it. It doesn't mean anything. It's just going into the game, they had to create a depth chart because you have to do it. But there's some truth to it. Because you look at the ones, you got J.J. McCarthy, Aaron Jones, C.J. Ham, Jefferson, Addison, Hockenson, Christian Darrisaw, Donovan Jackson, slated as a starter, Ryan Kelly, Fries, and Brian O'Neill. So I think that's legit. You look at the 2, Sam Howell, Jordan Mason, Jalen Naylor, and then Lucky Jackson. So that was the one where we really didn't know where everybody was going to fall. We didn't know who was going to be where, what was going to be the next receiver. But it's Lucky Jackson. Lucky Jackson is behind Jordan Addison. So it's Justin Jefferson, Jalen Naylor, Lucky Jackson, and Jordan Addison. We all had like a Rondale Moore thought. We had a Tai Felton thought. Like, we didn't know who they would put there, but it is Lucky Jackson. So Lucky Jackson right now is going to be the 3 when Jordan Addison, like, Jordan Addison's not going to play. So Jalen Naylor probably goes into the 1 unless they just feel like Lucky Jackson's done enough to be the 1. Next to Justin Jefferson. But Lucky Jackson's a guy I got to catch up with him at practice. I mean, he's an XFL guy. I remember we tried to get him before when he first signed, and we wanted to get him on the show, and then he kept, like, you know, he wasn't really playing, so I don't think he felt like maybe too comfortable because he didn't have a lot of requests for interviews. So I'm guessing it was a little bit of a like, well, what am I going to get out of this, or what is this about, you know? So now I'm going to make sure I meet him out at practice this week because, yeah, he's a guy that potentially, you know, Deshaun Jones is right behind him, but Rondale Moore was in the 4 spot with Miles Price, but, you know, he got hurt there. Thomas, you know, looks to be on the outs, you know, maybe another practice squad crack at it, or, you know, somebody else gets him. But yeah, and then Tim Jones and then Robert Lewis. But Felton is going to move up because of Jordan Addison. So Felton could be in the 4 because you're right. Rondale Moore is now out. Deshaun Jones could be fighting for that 4th receiver spot. But they're going to have to go with, because Jordan Addison will not take up a spot. He will be out in that first part of it. So they can still have 53 without Jordan Addison. So maybe another receiver gets a chance and then potentially either has to get cut or put a practice squad or released, then pick back up off waivers. And then the practice squad, if nobody gets them, like a Miles Price, because it could be Justin Jefferson, Jalen Nailor, Felton, Lucky Jackson, and then Price or Deshaun Jones. Like, this is getting really like weird and names that we didn't expect to be the 5 receiver group. But Jordan Addison's suspension opens up the door. Rondale Moore's injury opens up the door. And that's what happens when you're not on the field. Guys get chances and then they might not ever give it back to you. Jordan Addison's going to get his back. We know that. But Rondale Moore, like, they haven't officially said anything, but sounds like it's he felt like it was bad. You could see his body language and his motioning. He thought it was like, I can't believe this happened again. But hopefully it's nothing bad. Hopefully it just felt bad. And then they're like, look, it's just a minor, whatever, like a little tweak, a little something like just didn't, maybe a MCL or PCL sprain where those can heal. Hopefully nothing crazy like an ACL or something again. But we caught up with Ty Felton. Here's what he had to say.
So Ron Johnson here with Ty Felton. Ty, man, your first NFL training camp. How's it going so far?
Man, it's going good, man. It's definitely a learning process. Just trying to get out here and make my mark, trying to learn as much from the vets and guys like that so I can help this team win. So it's definitely been a blessing and it's been good.
And I know you played against Minnesota before. Max Brosmer.
Yeah.
Like, how is that now? I mean, you guys are both Big Ten guys, Big Ten quarterback, Big Ten receiver.
Right.
You've played against him. He's seen you play. Have you guys, like, made a connection with that during practice?
Yeah, 100%, just because we played each other. So I kind of know the scouting report on him. He kind of knows the scouting report on me. I'm a little mad at him because I don't think I'd ever beat Minnesota when I was at Maryland. But that's definitely my dog. We definitely had a good connection when we first got out here for sure.
And when you look at, other receivers in the build, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, man, what are you learning from those guys that you're using in your game? I mean, you got Rondale Moore, too. You got Jalen Naylor.
Right.
What are you learning from those guys to kind of add to your game? Because college is one thing, man, but NFL, it's a little bit faster, a little bit stronger. You got to be a little bit smarter with some of the offensive schemes. Yeah, exactly. So what are those guys teaching you?
Yeah, 100%, man. Just like you said, man, it's a lot different from college. It's like the minor details and the small details and fundamentals you have to have, taking what you learn in the film room to the practice field into the game. But yeah, I'm definitely just learning how those guys, how they practice, their practice habits, how they take care of their body. I feel like that recovery and take care of your body is kind of the biggest thing because you can't come out here and perform the way you should without taking care of your body. So it's definitely those small things, but I've definitely been learning a lot from those guys.
And last one, man, Justin Jefferson's known for the gritty. Can you, have you done it? Can you do it? Or, would you ever, what is your thoughts around the gritty?
Yeah, I feel like mine's mediocre. I'm still trying. I gotta get him to teach me some other the flight one and stuff he be doing. But I say it's mediocre. I'll learn and get better as the season goes on for sure.
And when you see JJ McCarthy throw, man, because you're quote unquote as you're a draft pick, so you're getting some runs with the 1s, 2s. You're working in preseason. You're gonna get a lot of work. What have you and JJ McCarthy kind of what are you seeing from JJ McCarthy that a lot of people haven't seen?
Yeah, this is mentality he comes in with every day. He's always ready to work. He's a QB1 and he acts like it. It's the way he is in the locker room, how he take care of his guys and how he goes over the script with guys before we go out there and how he works out here as well. You can see he's tucking off and running. He's finishing 40, 50 yards downfield. He's making the throws. He's anticipating those throws and stuff. So definitely this is mentality how he comes out here and works.
Last one, have you beaten Michigan? Did you play against JJ McCarthy?
Yeah, so I played against JJ for 3 years straight. So it was always close, but we never beat Michigan. So I never beat
Minnesota. So you got Minnesota, you got Michigan, Ohio State, you got Donovan Jackson.
Yeah, I never beat any of those.
You got Iowa with Hawkinson. Oh, my goodness. Michigan State with Naylor.
Okay, yeah, I beat Michigan State. So Speedy went to Michigan State, so I beat them twice. So that I got one for that one.
Because you got UCLA, it's growing. I got Oregon, UCLA, USC. So, that's the one thing, man, as you go on, the helmet sticker schools, you got to make sure you look up and who you've played, who you've beat. But, no, man, I'm glad to see you here. When they drafted you, that's the first thing when I reached out to the Vikings, I was like, hey, this is a guy that I've seen playing this because I do the Gophers game day and Vikings.
Yes, sir, yeah.
So I've seen you in the slot. I've seen you do a lot of stuff. I talked to Locks. I talked to Joker Phillips.
Right.
He recruited you as well. So heard a lot about you, man. Looking forward to seeing you playing on Saturday.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
And yeah, Sam, just like I said, he's a guy that he and I connected because we had the same receivers coach in Joker Phillips. Joker Phillips recruited him at Maryland. Joker Phillips was my receivers coach in Minnesota. He left me. I forgot where he went. I think he left me to go to Notre Dame, maybe to be the assistant offensive coordinator receivers coach. And he left him, or maybe go to Kentucky to be head coach. I can't remember exactly why he left us, but it might have been going to Kentucky to be coordinator, head coach. And then he eventually became head coach. And then he left him maybe to go to the NFL. I think he was at Maryland, and then he left and went to the Browns. But we've had Joker Phillips on because he also coached Thayer Thomas. So Joker Phillips has his hands all on his Vikings roster right now with Felton and Thayer Thomas. So yeah, Joker Phillips and he's still coaching. I think he's at NC State right now. But the other one, man, like here's the one. So again, back to the Big Ten, looking at, Jaylen Nailor. We're talking receivers. I want to stick with these receivers. Jaylen Nailor, I told him right away, man, that number 1 looks different on you. Like and he did say he gained weight. He lifted weights. He said, man, he wanted to be bigger, stronger. Because even when I said it to him, he's like, yeah, man, appreciate it, man. I've been working. Like, I could tell like he wanted to look bigger and stronger, and he wanted to have that body type. But we got a chance to catch up with him. And Jaylen Naylor was our guy when nobody knew him. Now he's a guy. He's slated as the 3rd receiver, probably the starter next to Justin Jefferson while Addison's out. And we caught up with him.
Everybody knows the speedy stuff. But man, is it the number 1? Because 83, man, you was looking slim. Yeah. Now you looking like a true big slot receiver, man. So what do you attribute that to this offseason?
Just switching up my routine in the weight room. Just trying to beef up a little more, just to get stronger with my blocks and stronger catching the ball. Just all in all, just trying to be the best version of myself.
And heading to week 1, man, you're going to be without Jordan Addison now. So mentally, man, where does that put you? Because, I know you've been there before. You've had Justin out before. You've had Addison out before. But now you got a new quarterback, too. So where's your mindset at with you and JJ?
Just trying to build that connection each day. Just keep on building what we've already put together so far. Just trying to keep it going, man. Just keep instilling confidence in him. Even if he throws a bad ball, whatever it is, man, just keep building his confidence up and just telling him to trust us, trust the O-line, trust everybody around him.
And you're one of the fastest guys on the team, but have you and Rondale Moore raced yet?
No, we haven't. But I think I got him.
And last one before we get out of here, man. So heading to this season, I know everybody has goals, type of things they're thinking about, but what's on your short-term list of things, when you look at weeks, 1 through 6?
Just putting everything together, man. Being as consistent as possible. Run game, pass game, just trying to be available and make all the plays that come my way.
Yeah, Sam, and for Jalen Naylor, his biggest thing was he wants to go out there and just continue to make plays. Is there anything when you think about him having an opportunity now with Jordan Addison out, because he said he just wants to show what he can do on film. He wants to go out there and be a asset and a weapon for J.J. McCarthy. Do you see that opportunity happen big time now? Because he is going to be the starter for 3 weeks.
Yeah. And again, he was kind of in this exact same position last year when Addison had the ankle injury. He got hurt early against the Giants in week 1. And then Naylor scored a touchdown in each of the first 3 games with Addison out. And he had 21 yards, 54 yards, 31 yards. And then, he had that big Green Bay game late in the year too. Remember, that was when everybody was healthy. Jefferson and Addison were out there, and Naylor went for 581 and 1. And that was kind of a breakthrough for him. And then he had 53 yards against Detroit in the final game. He had some big moments last year, and he was kind of exactly what you need from a wide receiver 3. So if he can level up even a little bit more this year, be a little more dynamic, eliminate a couple of those drop problems that he had last year, he's a perfect wide receiver 3. And he's playing for a contract too, Ron. You know how guys step it up when they're playing for a new deal? He knows that he could make some money, maybe not with the Vikings, but with somebody else next year. So this is a huge opportunity for him, and I'm actually expecting pretty big things.
And what was it? What was the receiver that left? KJ Osborne. KJ Osborne. Yeah. So, similar to that situation where the Vikings offered him and couldn't offer him exactly maybe what he wanted. He did get a little bit of an extension, but not what he wanted. And then he moves on to he's not with the Patriots anymore, is he? Or is he still with the Patriots?
I thought he went to Washington. He's actually struggled to kind of hang on since he left here. I'll check. I thought he was with Washington, but I could be wrong.
But yeah, so when you think about that with receivers and making decisions, sometimes taking not the same money, but taking close to the same money, it tends to pay off better to stay where people know you and want you, instead of just, going for the money. And then you end up feeling like, oh man, if I had stayed, I could have done this, X, Y, and Z. It says Washington Commanders is his current team. So that's, again, he'll have a chance there because what's his name? Deebo Samuels. People are joking that he looks big. I think he always was just big. I think people weren't used to seeing him outside of a 49ers unit. And that 49ers red is slimming. The Commanders have the offense right now in white uniform. So that probably just looks bigger too. But I see people joking, posting it like, oh, this is his receiver 1. Look how slow he is. And it's like, Debo never claimed to be fast. He's just hard to tackle, and he's a great route runner. And I think that's where, it's just the trolls on Twitter. They don't understand what kind of game Debo Samuels had. He was never considered a burner. He's a guy that catches the ball kind of like Golden Tate. Remember Golden Tate used to catch the ball and nobody could tackle him? Like, it was like the most frustrating thing where you're like, somebody tackle. I think Golden Tate was the one that did the like Harrison Smith Vikings walk-off flip and then flipped into the end zone. Because we had Andrew Sandeo on and we talked about that. Like, when you saw that happening, like what was going through your head? And the guy flips and still hits him and still scores to end the game. But yeah, he just was a guy. Doug Baldwin was another one of those guys too. Like Golden Tate, Doug Baldwin, those names come to mind. All kind of the Seattle guys, but they just feel like they were in the slot. They would catch the ball and they would just pinball off people. That's what Debo Samuel is. He makes big catches in traffic. He gets behind people. He's going to run jet sweeps. He's a strong running back as well. That's what the Commanders faithful haven't seen yet. He plays running back people. He runs the ball. He will line up in the backfield or he will motion to the backfield and then run the ball. So he's a weapon. And so him and Jaden Daniels, you never know what you're going to get out of them. But the last one, man, I saw Byron Murphy standing around, and so I just wanted to chat with him a little bit just about taking over because Cam Bynum. My biggest thing was Cam Bynum was leaving, and that was the dance partner for Josh Metellus. And here's what Byron Murphy had to say.
Byron Murphy Jr. Yes, right? So explain the junior, man. Explain that. Because I'm the second. My dad, when I was growing up in the 80s, they thought junior was weak. But they, now that's the thing. Everybody wants to be a junior, the third. Like, what's the junior about?
The junior, I'm named after my dad as well, so I'm the second too. So I'm just named after my dad. And
so you're the second,
I'm the second.
But they go by junior.
But they go by junior. But you feel me? It's crazy because I don't usually get called on for junior. It's Byron, my first name. People be like, you got an old man name. So the junior for me kind of a little bit different. So I'll be like, I'm a junior though, so it don't matter. But yeah, my first name, they be on me by my first name.
Okay. And Ryan Clark, man, Ryan Clark, ESPN. Yes, that's my guy. We played together. Came in the same 2002 draft class. But Ryan Clark said a thing, man, reminded me to ask you this. He said you are one of the most traveled cornerbacks, meaning you can go inside, outside, you can go right, left, boundary, wide side. What do you attribute to that?
A lot. Obviously, when you're on the outside, it's that island. You get that island feeling. And obviously, when you're in the inside, you got, more speedy guys. So that's kind of knowledge I go with it. But being able to travel and guard the best receiver is what I want to do every game. So when Sunday comes, that receiver on the left, I'm going to the left. You're on the right, I'm going to the right. And obviously, initially, they move around a lot of motions and stuff. So they get in that slot, too. So for me to be versatile like that, I can't, just put me on the field anywhere. I'm ready to go ball.
And you've been the young guy before. Now you're the vet. You're the guy here. You're the main guy, the one guy. How have you been leading into guys like Nudie and telling these younger guys, man, this is how we do it?
Definitely. I would just say it starts in the film room. When they ask questions, I kind of speak up, let them know what I see, and obviously they go from there, but giving them tips and stuff. But I think our coaches do a great job at that too as well. Every time we do something wrong, we're going to get coached. We're going to you got to go fix that and not making the same mistake. But, y'all, just keep sharing knowledge, man, because I've been in that position, like you said, but year 7 now, I'm getting up there a little bit. So, I love to just be the older guy in the room and then share my knowledge for sure.
And I got a fun one for you, man. Cam Bynum's gone. We know Josh Metellus and Cam Bynum, man. They was doing the dances and celebrate. Are you involved now in the celebration process?
I'm going to have to be involved. But then we got some guys like Nudie, the goofy ones that be on TikTok all the time and doing all that. So he's going to have to come up with something too. But it's really, we're going to have the young guys do it, but I'm going to have to throw some stuff in there too because I got a little bit of sauce and juice in me too. I got to show. So, we're going to have some fun with that too. Right. Shout out my boy Beezy too, man.
And I'm glad he said it. Like, Byron Murphy, like, he's like, man, I got some steps. I can dance a little bit. So I'm glad he kind of admitted it too, because now we've had him, we've had Theo Jackson. Looks like everybody wants to fill in for Cam Bynum and kind of be the dance partner for Josh Metellus. But being a veteran, the thing I like that he said is being a veteran. One, my takeaways from that is being a veteran. He wants to like show guys by example. Here's how you watch film. Here's how you show up for this. Here's how you do this. And then 2, Ryan Clark. We had Ryan Clark on, a couple years ago. And he talked about Byron Murphy when he first came to the Vikings. And he said, this is a guy that can travel. This is a guy that can play inside, outside. He can cover the best. And he said it. Byron Murphy said it as well. I want to cover the best receiver. If he motions to the slot, I want him. Do not switch off. If he's on the right, I want to go right. If he's on the left, I want to go left. That to me sounds like a guy that wants to be considered CB1, wants to be considered Murphy Island, Murphy Mansion. I don't even know what would we say with that. The Murphy Mile. You're out there on the mile with Murphy by yourself. Like, he wants that, where he wants the best guy every week. And so that's a Pro Bowl corner mentality. That's the guy that the Vikings want. And so that's the things I took away from what he said. I don't know, Sam, what'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader. He's the veteran presence in this secondary behind Harrison Smith,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a lot of young guys. It's Harry, it's Murphy, and they've got to lead by example. They got to be vocal, and I think Murphy has kind of settled into that role now, third year with the Vikings. He's going to be here for a handful more. People are going to get to know him really well, and he's a mainstay now. I mean, they've paid him accordingly. There's a lot on his shoulders, and he's got to rise to that occasion.
Yeah, and and I thought about it too when he was talking about just the veteran and how, some of the young guys. When Harrison Smith leaves, it's gonna be weird. I mean, I don't know if you've thought about that yet. I thought about that the other night because I had a video of Harrison Smith just standing around signing autographs. I tweeted it out on Twitter at 3Ron Johnson, or X, whatever you want to call it. I X'd it out. I messaged it. I don't even know what you call that. It's still a tweet to me. But I put the video up and people were just like, he signed an autograph for me when I was at the State Fair. He signed this when I was in an event. He was at just everybody was saying like how good of a guy he is. And the way he was taking in the fireworks with his family, I'm not saying this is the end, but it just feels like everything he's doing now is intentional. Like he's taking it in, he's signing autographs for the fans. But when he leaves, it's Byron Murphy's backfield, him and Josh Metellus, and it's going to be a different feel. Theo Jackson as well, like we've been around. I've been doing this for 11 years. So it's been a long time of doing this show and being on the pregame show with Harrison Smith. And we're getting to that age. I mean, I got the gray hair now. So I bet if we go back to our first show, I definitely wasn't gray. And so it's going to be weird, Sam. I don't know. Have you thought about that? Like how it's going to feel to like our main topic of DB will be Byron Murphy and Josh Metellus and no more Harrison Smith?
Yeah, I can't even fathom it. I mean, Harrison Smith was a Viking before I could legally drink. And he's been in 3 stadiums, and he's been on 3 coaching staffs, or is it 4? 3 or 4? It's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's so awesome to have that kind of player. Yeah. It rarely happens. Rarely do you have a guy on one franchise for 10 years, let alone 14. And he's going to retire a Viking. It's one of the most incredible Minnesota sports careers that we've honestly ever seen. I mean, he is, I don't know if calling him Joe Mauer is unfair to Joe Mauer, but I mean, someone that is a first round pick and is there for that many years and plays at that high of a level, it's pretty darn close.
Yeah. And Harrison Smith, I mean, when he decides to retire, if they don't put him in the Hall of Fame right away, it's a travesty. The only thing that's slowing him down, like if he had won a Super Bowl, no question at all. I think, and maybe this is his swan song. Maybe I don't know if you remember when Ray Lewis did the last ride thing when he said he's retiring. Then he had to do the deer antler spray and had the arm elbow injury. That was the year the Ravens won a Super Bowl for him, and Jerome Bettis got to go out on the high horse. He said the Super Bowl's in Detroit. He's going to retire. And he's like, no, I'm gonna do it one more time. And Antoine Randall, Larry Foote, and then we're like, man, we're in Detroit, man. Let's see if we can get you the Super Bowl for one more time. Like, don't retire just yet. Jerome Bettis sticks around. They go to Super Bowl in Detroit. They win it. So some people have had those stories. Maybe Harrison Smith. Maybe this is the story. Josh Duhamel will play. He will play the coach. In the making of the Harrison Smith story, the Minnesota Vikings Super Bowl. Because if the Vikings go to the Super Bowl, somebody like Josh Duhamel, who has Hollywood contacts, will want to make a movie about the Minnesota Vikings Super Bowl run on Netflix probably or something or whatever. But, it's one of those things that if he gets a Super Bowl, Harrison Smith, no questions, a Hall of Famer, but he's a Hall of Famer anyway. I just feel like, when it comes to Minnesota Vikings, sometimes they might slow play him, but you look at all the stats and everything he's done, it's great. But yeah, I'm glad all those 3 guys joined me. Thank you to Ty Felton, Jalen Nailor, and Byron Murphy Jr. for joining me on the Ron Johnson Show. Coming up next, we got the Daily 3. That's 3 questions. Spend about 3 minutes each day, and we'll be back after a short pause. Well, now it's time for the Daily 3, and I like this one. I like these today. I like these. I love a good joint practice. ESPN's rankings. They always want to hate. And then the Big Ten, because I was going to actually ask the football players at camp on Wednesday, Thursday, about the rankings, because that's nothing to. I love stuff that has nothing to do with them and the pros because they're more fun for them. If you guys notice, like when I do some of those interviews or I ask Josh Metellus at the end, like guys light up when they get to have fun with the question, and so that's why I want to ask them about the college football rankings. with SEC versus Big Ten. And so I'm going to make sure I do that on Wednesday as well. I'm probably going to write it down too, so I can show them the list just in case, because I know a lot of them, they're tired. They haven't paid attention to it much. But no further ado, Sam, take it away.
All right, Stefon Diggs coming to town with the Patriots. We are 5 years removed from the Stefon Diggs trade, Ron. Do you think fans are more appreciative for the time that he spent in Minnesota, the Minneapolis Miracle and all that, or are they more bothered by Stefon Diggs for the way that it ended with him in Minnesota and demanding a trade?
Both of them. I think people are they're happy with what he did. They love the Minneapolis Miracle, but they're also annoyed. Like, I think it's both. Minnesota is passive aggressive, so you'll have the people that like want to make a like, oh man, we're so happy, and then they'll do the like reverse thank you, like thanks for asking you out because we got Justin Jefferson. Like people do that one too. Like, thanks for getting out of here because that draft pick got us Justin Jefferson. If the Eagles had just drafted Justin Jefferson, we would not feel that way because we would have had to take Jaylen Naylor, and maybe Jaylen Naylor would have played better. I just don't think so. I don't think so. Like, Kirk Cousins was a big part of that, but Justin Jefferson is Justin Jefferson. There's nothing you can do about it. Like, he showed it in the SEC championship game. He showed it when they played Texas. Again, I don't understand how the Eagles watched those games with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase and said, Jaylen Naylor is our guy. Like, I just don't get it. That's why I don't know why scouts are so enamored by the 40-yard dash. Like, if you watch that guy score four touchdowns against one of the top teams in the country, and you say, let's go with Jaylen Naylor. Let's go with Jaylen Naylor. Like, yeah, like he's our guy. No, Justin Jefferson was the guy. I mean, you can go to the Raiders. Henry Ruggs. What were you thinking? Justin Jefferson was on the board. Like, Justin Jefferson was on the board. The guy was absolutely nuts. And that's why when I picked him to go to the Minnesota Vikings on the radio, and everybody said there's no way he's going to make it to 22, I just was like, maybe not. But I like Justin Jefferson. And I got it right. People. I don't purposely like think I know. I just kind of guess. And I hope. I got Donovan Jackson right. Donovan Jackson was my pick on Fox, on our show, on the game day show, on our show, everywhere. I was picking down. I tweeted it ahead of time when he ran 20 miles an hour with Luke Inman. I said, Donovan Jackson. I got it right. So, it is what it is, but I think people are bothered, but some people do appreciate the Minneapolis Miracle. Like, they do. So it'll be fun this week to see how the fans, like, I'll make sure I report that to you. Like, is it boos when he comes out? Is it cheers? Like, does he purposely maybe go over to the fans and maybe do some stuff, send some stuff, wave? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he doesn't even want to hear the boo, so he doesn't go over there. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think the fans are going to boo, cheer, ask for autographs?
If I know Stefon Diggs, and I watched him for a lot of years at practice, he is going to practice so hard and bring the fire and bring a little cockiness. And if he mosses somebody, he's going to let him know. He's going to let the fans know he might give him one of these. He might give him one of these. He might give him one of these, and I think he's going to ask for it. He's going to almost embrace kind of the boos and the intensity from the crowd. So I think he might get showered with a couple of boos, but man, he was a fun player to watch in practice because he goes so fast and so hard. So I hope he does. I hope he brings it because that would make it a lot of fun. Second question, Ron. ESPN ranked the Vikings 11th in their long-term power rankings, which measures not just this year, but the future outlook. This is kind of the most interesting part of it. In the bold prediction segment of the article, under the Vikings, Seth Walder writes, this is a bold prediction, the Vikings will have a bottom 5 defense in EPA per play. By this point, defensive coordinator Brian Flores will have been poached for another. So I guess he's writing about future, like not this year, but he's saying Brian Flores will have been poached for another head coaching job. And veterans like Harrison Smith, Javon Hargrave, Jonathan Allen, and Javon Ginkel will have aged out. So he doesn't like him long term. Do you think 11th is too high, too low, just right?
So by his metric of Brian Flores, I understand that. Age, yes, because there are a lot of aged, older guys on this team right now that the goal is try to win in the next 2 to 3 years for JJ McCarthy's rookie deal.
Yep.
So I mean, I'm guessing it's probably a 5-year outlook is what this is.
Yeah, I should have read it.
I was looking at
closely.
it.
So the top, Yeah, okay. So it's the next 3 seasons.
Best over the next 3
25,
seasons.
26, 27.
Yeah,
Yep.
so I'm guessing they're looking more at the 27 season when they make this, because you can't take 25, 26. These guys are old. But 27, most likely, yeah, Brian Flores might be gone by then. Might get an opportunity somewhere because some of these teams are going to suck and they're going to want a head coach that has a defense like that. But when you look at, here's the thing, when you look at the ones, it's not so much the Vikings, it's the guys ahead of them. Eagles makes total sense. Ravens makes total sense. You know, quarterbacks, Chiefs, quarterback, Buffalo Bills, quarterback. You know, everybody they're picking has a veteran quarterback that's not going to be gone. You look at the Lions, same thing. Defense and the quarterback. Green Bay Packers, young quarterback. You look at the Broncos, coach maybe. I don't know what they're going there. Houston Texans, quarterback. San Francisco 49ers, quarterback. And then the Washington Commanders, quarterback. Like, it's literally, they just picked all the young quarterbacks that are doing well right now and just saying the next 3 years are going to continue to do well. And then the Minnesota Vikings with J.J. McCarthy are 11th. I think they're just right, because then you got the Chargers, who have an older quarterback who hasn't proven himself. You got the Rams as an old quarterback. You got the Bucks, old quarterback. You got the Bengals. That one to me is shocking. Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and T. Higgins, they're going to be there for a while. They're saying the concern is the offensive line. So I could see that. The Raiders makes total sense there. The Cardinals makes total sense there. Bears, total sense there. I think they're too high at 18th. They tied them with the Patriots, makes sense there. Jags makes sense. You know, so it's the top 10 guys are all stable quarterbacks that aren't retiring in the next 3 years. That's all he did. He took let's be real. Like, everybody wants to create these lists for people to read it, come up with all the kind of mixture. But whatever you want to look at, it's stable. And then the guys at the bottom are quarterback quandaries, I guess you want to call it. Tennessee Titans, Cleveland Browns, Indianapolis Colts, Atlanta Falcons, New York Jets, Carolina Panthers, New York Giants, and the New Orleans Saints all have quarterback problems. Like, literally, I called it. The top, solid quarterbacks, not aging out. The bottom, terrible quarterback situations. Nobody really knows what they're going to be. Boom. There's your article. Minnesota Vikings are in the middle because it's a safe place to put them. J.J. McCarthy could be really, really great the next 3 years, but the defense could suffer. But if you score 30 points a game, who cares that your defense gave up 20? So that's what I always go with when it comes to great offenses, that a great offense can help out a bad defense. But again, whoever is behind Brian Flores, I'm pretty sure they're taking a ton of notes. If Kirk Cousins has all that, you saw those notebooks on Netflix that Kirk Cousins has. If Kirk Cousins has that, just imagine what some of these coaches have. Like, they probably have notebook on top of notebook. I mean, because I do, from the last 11 seasons of me doing Vikings Game Day Live, I got notebooks everywhere with stats and stuff and notes written down, and I can go back to seasons upon seasons. And my wife's like, "Why are you keeping them?" You never know. You never know. I just keep them. I put them in a box over there. They're right over there in my office, and I got a little corner thing where the camera's at, and it's a little like file cabinet, and I just stick them in there. And then whenever I need to, every once in a while, I can pull it out and be like, "Oh yeah, I remember in 2017, they did this," or "I remember in 2022, this happened." Like, I can go back and look at some historical stats, and I use that when I do my show, because people bring that up. Like, when I as the season goes, Sam, you know that I love the stats. I love to bring that stuff up. So what's the last one?
Last one, top 25 college football poll is out. 5 Big Ten teams appear in the top 25, not Minnesota. They did not receive a vote, Ron. Will the Gophers at any point in the season appear in the top 25 poll or even receive a vote?
Oh, they're going to receive a vote. When you look at the way their schedule ranks out, they're going to have some pretty good wins early on, and so I think they'll get some votes. But it makes total sense. Like, Texas, Penn State, that was a shock to me. Ohio State below Penn State, that was a shock to me. I don't know if that was to you or not. Clemson is higher than I thought they would be. And then the Georgia, Alabama, like, they're lower than I thought. But, it just shows Texas has recruited well the last couple of years. They fell under the table during the college football playoffs. But you still have the Oregon, and then Oregon being at 7. But yeah, that was a shock to me. The other one was Boise State. Didn't expect them to be in there. Some of these I think are just reaches of just a couple writers put some votes in and said, okay, like, yep, this team does this, and this. Ashton Jeanty is no longer there, but I'm guessing they're giving them the team still some credit. Like, hey, this team's still good though. But you were all Ashton Jeanty. Like, it was literally the Jeanty show. Every year, though, Boise State, even back when Ian Johnson, remember Ian Johnson played for the Vikings, celebrate, proposed his girlfriend after winning the Tostitos Bowl against Oklahoma. Look at that one. I pulled that one out the back of my
epic
hat.
Game.
But yeah, like they've always had good seasons because they don't play anybody. Like, play everybody that's good, and then let's see if you end up in the top 25. Like, they don't play anybody out there. They just dominate their conference. So until they join the Big 12 or something, because I know the Big 12 is trying to come back and get teams back. Maybe Boise State joins the Big 12. But yeah, other than that, like, I think it's pretty good. I just that Penn State over Ohio State is really shocking to me. So I'm excited to see what this season holds. But yes, Minnesota will definitely get some votes. I think Minnesota could be 25-24 after maybe 6 games. I don't know. What do you think?
Looking at the schedule now, 4-0 start, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
They got to play Cal on the road. Cal, of course, in the Atlantic Coast Conference, the team on the West Coast in the ACC. They went 2-6 in the ACC last year. Gophers can win that game.
Mm-hmm.
They could be 4-0 going into Ohio State, probably lose.
Mm-hmm.
And then Purdue, Nebraska at home, winnable. 6-1 would be the best possible outcome, I think, through the first 7 games. And if they're 6-1 going into Iowa, I think they're ranked.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's your path. I think you got to be 6-1. You got to take care of business in every winnable game, and probably drop Ohio State, and then go. And then you have a tough, I'd say, decently tough down the stretch, Ron. I don't know if you're going to stay ranked with Iowa, Oregon, Wisconsin on the schedule, but they could start. They could get us going with Drake Lindsey. We'll see how Drake Lindsey, very much like J.J. McCarthy, see how Drake Lindsey fares when he's faced with really good competition.
Because Wisconsin's coming to town at the end of the season. That might be game day. I'm trying to think what other. That's the only one I could see being game day. Like, maybe they go to Iowa and Minnesota plays Iowa. That Iowa game day goes there. Because I know they do try to find some big matchups, but I could see Minnesota, Wisconsin being a game day situation, depending on what both their schedules or records are at that point. But I only really see the losses on the schedule I see are just Oregon, Ohio State, and that's really it. That jumps out at me. Like, I think Iowa finally found a pass game, allegedly. They're beatable. Michigan State's beatable. Northwestern's beatable. Wisconsin's beatable. Nebraska, Purdue, Rutgers, Cal, and then you name the first 3 games or the first 2 games. New Mexico. What is that? I don't even know.
Northwestern State,
and then Buffalo. All winnable games. So, but again, it just depends on Drake Lindsey. Like, the ball is the program, and it's all on Drake Lindsey's shoulders. So I think a couple wins here and there, they can get up in that top 25. But yeah, the Ohio State showing too. Like, even if they lose to Ohio State, it's got to be a good game. Like, you can't get the doors blown off against Ohio State. But last time Minnesota went to Ohio State with a pretty decent team, we walked away with a win. So let's see if they can go down. If Drake Lindsey can go down there and create history and find some lightning in the bottle. They do have a transfer receiver from UCLA. He's looking good right now. He doesn't care about Ohio State the way other people do. So maybe he just goes in there with I don't give a crap attitude and just has himself a day. And we look up on SportsCenter and Minnesota's upset Ohio State. And then they're going to be – if they beat Ohio State, they're ranked. You beat Ohio State, you're ranked. And there's the ranking there. But I'm Ron Johnson, Sam Extra. I want to thank you guys for joining us today on the Ron Johnson Show. I want to thank the Minnesota Vikings for allowing me to be at training camp. Thanks to Jaylen Naylor, Felton, Byron Murphy Jr. for joining me. And, stay tuned, people. I'll be back out there for the joint practices. I'm hoping to get a Stefon Diggs quick, 3 questions to Stefon. We had him, but Luke Inman was the first time. So maybe I'll send the old interview to Sam as well for you guys to hear that from the show. It was Stefon Diggs. It's terrible, though. It's so terrible. But I kind of want you guys to see it. It's me, Stefon Diggs. Luke Inman was behind the camera. It was absolutely terrible. And then we can fast forward 11 years later. And hopefully we can get them back now. So again, I'm Ron Johnson, Sam Extra. Make sure you guys subscribe, download Locked On Sports Minnesota on YouTube, and that'll get you the Ron Johnson Show and all of our squad shows as well. Every Wednesday, Thursday, which you guys are on there Monday as well. And then also the postcast, people. Games are starting. Games are coming, but we're already into the preseason postcast. You'll have some Gopher games. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that as well, because we're going to be breaking down the game right after it happens. I want to thank you guys. Have a great week.